So the first event is pretty like confused. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what they're doing. You're just there to watch and listen to people. Yeah. So that was my first event. And then I joined the Atlassian community. And then it was a very vibrant community. I'd say that was my
Still
first.
is.
Oh, sorry. It is a very vibrant community, tech community. Yeah, where you talk about very various tools that Atlassian has, like Jira, Trello, Bitbucket. Yeah, all those. The first meetup, of course, you won't know what they're about. When you attend the second one, then you get, okay, no, it's about this. And then the third one, you're like, okay, now I'm getting a hang of it.
Yeah.
And then now, as you continue to attend the events, you'll just...
They make sense.
Yeah, they'll be like, no, I enjoy this. No, this is my place.
Oh, you found like Atlassian is your place. I love to.
Yeah, sure.
So do you use some of those tools nowadays?
Yes, I love Trello.
Trello.
And Bitbucket. I also use GitHub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you love Bitbucket. Why don't you use Bitbucket?
Because most people will send you invites via GitHub. So
GitHub is just more popular.
Yeah.
But you prefer Bitbucket.
I love both.
Politically correct answer. You love both.
But you can actually use, if someone sends you a GitHub repo, you can still do your thing on Bitbucket. You know that, right?
No.
Yeah,
No.
even GitLab, you can actually use GitLab. If someone sends you some Bitbucket, you can do your thing on GitLab and still merge or do whatever it is. They're all the same actually.
They
They use
all
Git
version control
technology, which is basically all the same.
Yeah.
But of course, Bitbucket adds a couple of things on top of it because it's more corporate. It's more like if you're a really serious software engineer, you would go with Bitbucket. But it doesn't break a bone even to use GitHub or GitLab. But most corporate code sits on Bitbucket because it's proprietary code. Yeah. But GitHub is synonymous with the open source, And that's even it's easy to flow with it. Yeah. So Bitbucket adds some Mercurial, fisheye stuff, Bamboo, where now you talk about CI/CD and stuff like that. Yeah, but I'm glad to hear you love Bitbucket. So what do you love about Bitbucket?
Okay, I think I've just used it on one project, and I think I just like that we could collaborate. Actually, before meeting GitHub, I met Bitbucket, and then I was told there's also GitHub. Yeah,
so it's where you started.
Yeah.
So
Then
this is your first year, right?
yeah, this is first year.
So did you start building projects around Bitbucket, GitHub?
Yeah, I volunteered for a startup. Yeah, it was something to do with medicine. Yeah. So we were building an application and all the devs there were using Bitbucket. So that's I didn't know anything about Git. So I was told, go and install Git bash on your laptop. And I'm like, what is it for? Yeah, and then now I came to realize, okay, we are going to collaborate using Bitbucket. Yeah, that's
So it sounds like you love to be thrown on the deep end and then find your way, right?
Yes, that's the best way to learn.
Yeah. So when you went out and found out Git, Bitbucket, how was that experience? Do you research, look for documentation? How was that? Or tutorial, video tutorial? I don't know.
Google. You just ask what is Git bash, then you write download Git bash, and then and also tutorials. Yeah.
That means you're using a Windows PC or something.
OS
Why didn't you just install Linux?
Well, there's this disparity when people say Ubuntu people and Windows. Well, I'm more into designing.
Okay.
So
you can't take away Windows from it.
Yeah.
You love design?
Love design.
Are you a good designer?
Yes. Okay. People say I am.
Someone says that, it's debatable.
No, people actually say I'm good at what I do.
I didn't know that side of you. I hear you are UX, UI, kind of person, but I never.
Yeah, I have a portfolio
Yeah.
of projects I've done. Yeah.
That's nice.
Please send to me after this, or maybe later.
Yeah,
I
sure.
would love to see
will.
that. Because even in Nairobi, and I don't know if I was telling Sylvia
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the team that if you look for really good designers in this country,
It's difficult.
it's really hard.
Really?
Yeah, it's really hard. And when I see someone like you who's really interested in design,
Yeah.
yeah, even the person who I know is really good in design, we started from nothing actually, and now he's doing really well. So rarely do I meet good designers in this ecosystem. But I know a couple of guys, either they are too senior, or, outliers. Yeah, and they're not many. So it's a good field to explore.
Yeah.
I know there's so many people who can, do a poster on Canva and think they're designers. I hope you're not that kind.
No, I actually
Proper
use
design.
Figma.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Yes.
Figma. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So,
Yeah.
Hope,
Yes.
how was I'm waiting for that exciting KCA.
Yeah, okay.
Story.
So the exciting part starts when I applied to become a Moringa campus ambassador.
This is in
And-
which year?
During my long holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was in second year.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, when I got accepted, my role was to be an ambassador of the brand Moringa to my school, KCA. And I was really excited.
Yeah.
So once joining, one thing that was very, very exciting for me is that I was with fourth years, fifth years. And I was like, wow, I'm just the only second year here. And all of them helped me grow this year. And I'd say like with all the different tech communities I belong to is because I've known people from the Moringa Campus Ambassador community. Yeah.
Did you go to Moringa yourself?
No. I've not yet studied there.
What did you love about Moringa?
I love the courses. I love that the devs that come out from there are very skilled. Yeah.
Okay. The first person who I've met who says that.
Yeah. They're very, very skilled. Yeah. And it's a nice school.
Yeah. Moringa, when it was started, was a really interesting story. But I'll bring the initial co-founders of Moringa in this podcast. Yeah.
Oh, Audrey.
There are more. This is just Audrey. Audrey is the one who is known. And I don't know if she is around anymore. But anyway, I'll try and bring one. They have their own story, so I'll love them to tell it. Because also, as long as it might not sound so, rosy, not startup story that is rosy, by the way, especially in Africa. People could learn a lot of things from those stories. Some of them are people actually we have worked closely with in the community aspect, and they're really good, really, really good. And it's good to see also Moringa still thrive even today.
Yeah.
Something good, yeah. Are you still Moringa ambassador?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, most of people know you from that.
Yes.
You really did it well.
Yeah, I did it well and I still do it well.
Give us tips. You're trying to.
Of course, I'll share as they go on. So once I joined, I met very great people who introduced me to communities. Like my friend called Brenda, she was very active in going for tech events like PyCon. So when I had PyCon at first, I was like, what is that? And what do you guys do there? I really didn't have any idea.
Yeah.
But then she knew and she was like, okay, I can show you. Then she showed me the Microsoft Ambassador program.
Yeah.
And I really got to learn. And now I know very many communities.
So what would you say really community contributes to, someone who is really starting this, someone who is already ongoing and someone who actually already, they are good at what they do because they contribute differently to different.
Yeah, I'd say, but one thing about communities is that you'll go there as a newbie or as a novice and you don't know anything about anything in tech. And then now like when you're in first year, just think tech is web development, websites and all that.
Yeah.
Now when you go to tech events, you're like, okay, now we have AI. Okay, we have product designers. We have those who do backend. There's front end. There's like so many categories in tech. And now you're like exposed to different people. You actually meet someone working in Microsoft, in Google, someone working for the big tech companies. Others are working for startups. And like when you're at home, you wouldn't meet these people. Just when you attend these tech events, that's when you get to see and meet them and just hear about their journey. Yeah.
So you're saying also it's good for networking. And also I've seen people share job opportunities in some of these events, as well as, gigs. Someone is working on a project, they need maybe a designer, or they need someone to do front end. Yeah. So you would say someone, rather than spending a weekend, hanging out. I don't know, what do people do? For me, unfortunately, I don't know how it is to, spend a weekend
Not doing tech.
Yeah, like if I'm not spending time with the community, I'm attending an event for real. Until this year. This is when actually, even this year actually, to some extent, I've not had the weekend. What do people do?
In university.
Anywhere.
Oh.
Yeah. Because even the people who have completed university and they're in tech, but you never see them in the community.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sherehe.
Oh.
Sherehe means party.
So you go to a party and then the whole day you spend sleeping. Oh.
Okay, I don't know what. Okay. Yeah. And then what else do people do?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
So you also spend your weekends in...
Mostly, I love spending time in tech communities.
Yeah. and I feel like I learn a ton in the communities. Also, I meet interesting people. And the conversations there are quite exciting, I would say. Yeah. Actually, it's just something that I'm thinking right now. Like, what do people? And I think I've ever asked this one, like one or two times in the community. Like, you guys, when you're not here, what do you do? Because, of course, even when you're meeting, even if I spend all the weekends with the community, either I'm, in Nairobi or somewhere else. So, people in Nairobi, I'm sure,
are doing something
else. Yeah, doing something else. So, it's a question that I'm thinking about. But yeah, so if community is really fun, first day you feel like, I don't know anyone.
I don't belong here.
Like, what should I say? How should I introduce myself? People
You know
introduce
nothing.
themselves as co-founders. You're like,
CTO.
or CTOs, or of course there are people who give themselves titles, but they are proper CTOs. There are people who are senior software engineers somewhere, people working for Microsoft and whatnot. So that should not scare you, because one day most of those people are, where you are. It's just a matter of saying, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm starting up, And by the way, some of these senior people love people who are starting up, because when you have knowledge, okay, everyone is not the same. I'm not assuming everyone is the same. But when you have knowledge and you're part of a community, most people want to share. Most people want to see someone else grow.
Right.
Yeah.
So until you say something, people also will not say anything. So try to engage. Don't over-engage, of course. Just engage the right amount, like, introduce yourself, try to share something fun. And then from that point, you might exchange contacts, you might know each other, and things start from there.
Yeah. Well, I'd attribute most of the contracts I've done, I'd attribute them to meeting people in the tech ecosystem.
Yeah.
And also the friends I have. Yes, I think choosing your circle is the most important thing, especially in university. I have very great friends who challenge me to become a better person every time.
Yeah.
So even those times you don't feel like going for that tech event, you have someone who will tell you, you know what, let's just go see what will happen. And I think, because you always don't feel like going, because it's not all fun and games. You also get to learn, so it's tedious. So having someone to remind you, you know what, you just come, you'll learn something, you won't go back home the same. That has also been very important.
So the same way someone will tell you, sherehe leo ni Kiambu Road. It's the same way, okay, Kiambu Road is where now the sherehe happens. But the guys who are not familiar with the Nairobi culture, there's this analogy that certain routes or certain places will be the place to go for. When you go to Uganda or Rwanda but I don't know, maybe I'm assuming. But you go to Tanzania, there are specific places since, I don't know, maybe 90s. That's where clubs are. That's where, sherehe happens. But in Nairobi, it's peculiar. Even with the mats is matatus or public transport. There are routes that, this year or this couple of years, it's the route that they have the nicest, beautiful matatus. Same way with clubs. So there was a time CBD was a place to go. There was a time Westlands, where we are right now, was a place to come. There was a time Gong Road was things used to happen there. Then there was a time Mombasa Road used to be the place to be. Recently, Thika Road was the place to be. Recently, not even a long time ago, especially during Corona. That's where the parties used to happen. Right now, it's Kiambu Road, right?
I didn't even know.
Yeah, I mean that's the
moves,
case. I'm not that I'm a shere guy, but of course I keep myself updated so that whenever I need to do a shere, which I don't know, and I'll do it. But ideally, it's a peculiar culture, and the reason why I'm talking about this, which I think is out of scope, is that when you're doing software engineering, it's a science and it's also an art. And you have to understand certain patterns in certain areas. I'll give you an example. Look at Facebook or TikTok. They are both social media, or even Twitter, but they address different market segments.
Yeah.
Even the advertisers there, you'll find there are certain advertisers who advertise on Twitter
But
and not
not
Facebook
Yeah.
or not TikTok. I don't know if TikTok is supporting advertisement yet. The others who will just advertise on Spotify, right?
Yeah.
So the same way you need to understand, because also entertainment is a big thing in software engineering. Yeah. This is what they call multimedia, like a unit, a big unit actually. You can do a project around it. So you need to understand those patterns. Music itself is a software, as you speak. Because right now what happens is that people go create beats, like not create, arrange beats on a computer using software. Then someone comes and records the vocal. The vocal passes through what they call, what is that name of that software? Which makes you sound like Beyonce. Okay, that's a bad example. Auto-tune, yes.
Yeah.
And then it really sounds smooth and, certain way. And then now it's matched or merged with the beats. And then they give you to listen. If you don't like it, they can change actually the beat. Or if you don't like something, you can pre-record or you can record again until you get the perfect.
The right.
So ideally, all these things are happening, but what is supporting the whole process is the software. Yeah. So if you think about it, in the industry right now, they used to say software is eating the world, but right now I feel like software is swallowing the world to some extent. So you have to understand some of those concepts so that even when you come out here, which year you graduated?
Next year.
Yeah. You're able to build solutions that people can use. Yeah. So I thought I should say that because you've ever even done entertainment hackathon. The guys who came there, like the first entertainment hackathon, what should do? I'm like, okay, maybe I need to like take people slow and understand that any industry that you think about today, hospitality, transport, like right now I hear the Minister of Transport announce about telemetrics and something else and cameras. So for you to be able to do all these things, you need things to do. GPS, you need to crunch data, you need and toolbox actually. Is it toolbox or black box or something? The one that is in the aeroplanes. What? What's the name of it's the black box? I'm not sure. I'm not wrong. Yeah. When the plane crashes, where you get the data, what actually transpired is a black box. Is it black box? The guys who are listening can tell us the name. We have Jose, we have Kawasa, and there's someone, their name which is in Japanese. And of course, we have
international listeners.
Yes, Jolonde. You can pick them up. They can listen. They can hear you. So you can say hi.
Hi. Hi, Kenyans and fellow international listeners.
Citizens.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So ideally, there's that debate. But I'm not saying you provide the hardware because, in Kenya, mostly when you hear something like that happening, there's a container somewhere. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. That, in Kenya, what happens is that before you hear a big project, already most of the things have been figured out.
Yeah.
So they are looking for the market of
They're very
the
ready.
of sheep. But where now the software engineers come in and Juakali, artisans, and all these people who actually do the last mile, number one is installation, maintenance, and creativity. And that's when our software engineers come in. How can we be able now to build on top of that software or hardware to actually deliver localized solution? For instance, maybe you have a fleet of cars. How are you able to integrate and make sense out of it? Right? Can you even actually use the same toolbox to see how many people are in the car at a given particular time? Can you actually even install SDK push on that toolbox for people to pay and get your money? There are so many ideas if you think about it. Yeah, but if you're waiting for you to get a tender, you'll be disappointed. Disappointed. This is just for anyone who will listen to this. But go ahead.
Okay. So, then I joined the different communities, Microsoft, Google, and one of them that I love is that I am the co-lead at KC University. And being there as a leader gives me the opportunity to invite more ladies to the team, since this tech ecosystem is filled with the male. Now we need to add more females to.
So it's very interesting. Now that you guys actually can feel free to answer this. Why is that? Why do you think
the guest
that's the
goes
case?
first.
Okay. I think it's because we think coding is such a hard task, and we also think that websites and coding is the only thing in tech. We are not exposed to what the other various things that tech has. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. We don't know about. We don't have the exposure.
Yeah, and I think it's also a narrative that is sold to us very early on. Like when you get in and you say you're a lady doing engineering or you're a lady in tech, everyone around is like, wow, you're sure you'll make it. They're just those notions that people have that have been bred into us with time. So there's that narrative already. Even if you're good, you'll doubt yourself. You'll get there thinking, but can I really do this though? Am I really sure?
Yourself.
You doubt yourself right from the word go. And it isn't right. And it's a culture that should stop. And it starts early on in very basic things, but it shows up when you're older in things like that, and how they address ladies in tech, and how they address just ladies trying to strive in these fields that are marked as male-dominated sectors. Yet, if you think about it, the ladies in tech are doing very well, and they're very good. But now things are a bit more difficult for them to get there, just because they have to fight that on top of learning the skill as well.
That's a very common phrase to know. So, utawezana na hiyo kweli? Okay, that in English is, will you manage that course? Ama unafurahisha kijiji?
Exactly. Yet we all have the same brain. If you think about it, at the end of the day, we have the same brain. If you're smart whether you're male or female.
So
you'll still grasp the same concepts.
Okay. Don't you think that there are ladies who have had that opportunity and they really did not utilize it to the maximum?
I think one of the fears I think we have is also imposter syndrome. When you're there, you're like, I think I don't even deserve to be here. You're in a team of devs and you're like 10 people, but you're only 2 females. You're like, this is not my place. I'm just out of this place.
So the one who perseveres is the one actually who really
maybe they get there and then they're like, wow, I really don't fit in. I feel like
Yes, they're good also.
They're good.
So do you feel like also there's some ladies who get there and then when they face the first challenge, they retract or they like, I would say they do the bare minimum and then they end up given something like project management or, I would say lighter task or something that is not so technical, which also again proves the notion that ladies cannot see it through all the way. Not that maybe you experience that much, but maybe Sylvia, you can also contribute. But I would like to hear your input if you have seen that.
Okay. I have not seen one. My mentor is a back-end engineer and she does it very well. She's one of the people I look up to and she's one of the core pillars in my career. Like when I see her do it, I know I can also do it. So she's not deviated. she's coding.
And she's really good. But then another thing I've seen with the lady engineers, if they're really engineers, they're super good.
Yeah.
Super, super good. And I say this and it sounds like, MK is pulling people's leg. But no, what I mean is that I've seen is, it happened. When I speak like this, it sounds like I'm Mizazi. I've seen it actually happen. Like someone started, push it when things are hard, they keep pushing it and they really thrive. For some reason, I think perseverance is very important for you to really get to where you want to go. But something else, but please go. Do you think that there are ladies who don't really go all the way?
Yes, there are. And at times, I do not think that it's a matter of they're not strong enough to persevere. It's a matter of they faced the challenge just like any other. But now this time, they didn't get the mentorship or they didn't get the direction or the help. Anyone they went to just told them,
maybe you should
maybe just try something else. Or they just, and you can only face that long enough until it gets to a point where you're thinking, okay, let me for a minute think about this. And then when they take that sort of step back, they get into the quote-unquote lighter roles that you're talking about, which they're still performing, showing that it's not that they're not good. They can, whatever role they're given, they can handle it well. But now the lack of direction, they're not really sure where to step to next. And it's good that sometimes they really do pick up. Maybe later they meet someone like a mentor like you have, which is very important. And I think people should really get that, especially if you're new in a field. It would be important just to see where, to be able to even get beacons or goals, to know how to set them the right way. But once they get that, they can be able to get back on track.
So now that you guys are speaking about mentorship, I have to say I don't believe in mentorship. I believe in apprenticeship, which is much, I find it much intriguing to be an apprentice, like learn by doing. And that's how people used to learn before education, the one that formally. If you wanted to be a carpenter, just go to a workshop, see how things are done, holding things around, and you see it and you learn. Same with if you wanted to become a doctor, you went to the forests, look for the herbs, see which one is poisonous, how do you mix them, package them. If maybe this disease is severe, you see that happening. And I think even doctors use that until today. In the hospitals, it's called they call practicing doctor or something. But when you finish your 50 or something, you go and spend some time in the hospital doing rounds. They call them rounds. So you are actually start now see what happens, how to question a patient, how to to administer the medication, and you see doctor do it in real time.
I think they start even earlier while you're still in campus. They still go for rounds and have to do that.
So I find that intriguing than mentorship because, and you guys can speak about mentorship for a bit. Because mentorship, I find like if I was your mentor, I might end up telling you all the good things. To some extent, I might tell you all the good things. And that's how humans are, mostly. But if you see me doing something, you'll see where things are not working and how I fix them. And you get that knowledge firsthand. It's more sticky than me telling you something. Also, you might end up asking the wrong questions. And of course, if you ask the wrong questions, you get the wrong answers. But that's me viewing mentorship in different angles. Also, I find like you might not really get enough time to really go through most of the things because, of course, I'm assuming if I'm a mentor to someone, of course, I still have the life that is going on. So I might say, okay, we will meet 30 minutes, every week. But something might happen and that 30 minutes I'm not available, you're not available. Or there's something else that I need to do that really is more urgent than this mentorship, and you might not gain much. So over time, I realized that also there are people who really come for mentorship, but it's not mentorship. And I think you've seen a few cases recently where some tech bros were accused of things that I don't know if they were true or not. But even when I read what was happening, I say, okay, I was almost like, I told you, but rarely do I tell people how to handle things. Because, of course, there are so many underlying factors that I see with especially software engineering that actually could go wrong than right with mentorship.